Hello and welcome back to the INNERview. I'm your host, Jennifer Clyde. I'm sure that most of you have read at least one comic book in your lifetime. As you see, I am surrounded by comic books. And these days, webtoons, even mobile toons, are amassing popularity worldwide. Today, we'll get the chance to meet Ling Yifan, a webtoon artist who's come to Korea to give a keynote speech at the World Webtoon Forum, organized by the Korea Creative Content Agency. Stay tuned to learn more about her.
Ling Yifan is a webcomic artist who's more well-known by her pen name, Buddy. She has been amassing popularity on a major webcomic website in China. Since her debut as a comic artist in 2004 with Delicious Seasons, she has been producing one hit after another, including Spirit Voice and Once Again. And with Guarding, she became the first Chinese webcomic artist to publish on a Korean platform in 2015. Buddy is rising to prominence on the global webcomic industry with original stories and illustration style. Meet her and dive into the realm of webcomics on this edition of the INNERview.
Welcome to the INNERview and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's my honor to be here. Thank you.
Could you first of all begin by maybe giving a brief introduction of yourself to our viewers that are watching?
Okay, yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Buddy, that's my pen name, and my real name is Ling Yifan. I'm from Beijing, China, and I'm a manga artist.
So you have a very interesting pen name, Buddy.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
How did that come about, Buddy?
Well, I had that name when I was in high school, when I first learned the word, and I thought that's an interesting word, and it's a man's name. Right?
Yes,
it's not
Buddy.
It's not a female name, but I think it's good because I don't want my audience to think that it's a girl or it's a guy or something like that.
I see. That's a very interesting name.
So I chose that word.
I like the name.
Thank you.
So is this your first visit to Korea?
Yes, it is.
I
yeah,
see.
it's my first time here.
So what brings you to Korea this time around?
Well, it's DICON 2015. Yeah, I have to give a speech here. They invited me to do that, and I feel very honored to do that. Yeah, and yeah, it was a good one. I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Content experts from around the world gathered at the World Webtoon Forum for a discourse on the webcomics industry and its current trends.
日本の漫画というのは、紙の漫画であっても電子の漫画であっても、お金を払って買うコンテンツ
스마트폰으로 사람들이 이제 만화를 보기 시작해서 사실 세로 버전으로 만화를 보는 거 같은 경우는 사실 아직까지는 한국밖에 없습니다.
中国的网络漫画的规模现在覆盖的人数已经超过了1亿人，如果加上手机端的这个用户的话，那总覆盖人数应该超过了6亿人。
The forum also attracted a lot of media attention, attesting to the growing interest in webcomics. So what was the purpose of this forum?
이 자리가 오늘 우리 웹툰 산업의 발전과 해외 진출에 실질적인 조언과 도움을 드릴 수 있는 자리가 되기를 바랍니다. 그리고 또한 이 자리에 함께해 주신 중국과 일본의 만화 산업 관계자들 분들께도 서로 윈윈할 수 있는 좋은 기회가 되기를 기대를 합니다.
The opening address was followed by a lecture given by Buddy.
큰 박수로 링이판 작가님을 모시겠습니다.
Figured out how to read it.
She gave a presentation under the title China Drawing Webcomics and began by explaining how she came to become an aspiring comic artist. Then she presented 4 of her iconic works and shared the difficult and encouraging moments she experienced as a comic artist. The engaged audience seemed to find her presentation inspirational.
Empty myself from time to time, throw away self-admirations and vanity, be humble yet steady about creating is the only way to always fill myself with new things and create better stories and artworks. I will keep doing that in the future.
The widespread use of smartphones has caused a transition from print comics to webcomics. With the internet providing access to a wider audience, Buddy has been gaining a stronger fan base outside China. And this year, she began communicating with the comics enthusiasts in Korea.
must have felt amazing to, I'm sure that you had fans coming to listen to your keynote speech as well. How does that feel?
Feels great. Feels great, actually. I do my comics in Chinese, right? In Chinese lines. And I never thought about maybe foreign people, they may not understand it or something like that. But it turned out fine. You know, they can understand it well. They can understand with no problem. They even think that I'm Korean. You know? Yeah, because when the platform announced that I'm coming to Korea to attending this DICON 2015 speech, and the audience, they said that, what? You know, she's a girl and she's from China.
She's not Korean?
Yeah, I thought she's Korean, something like that, which I think means, you know, my artwork, there's no boundaries between the two countries. You know, people can understand it very easily. And I'm very impressed that not only young people read comics. You know, there are a lot of like middle-aged people in their 40s. And they're guys, you know, they read my manga and they said that they like it. I'm very, very happy about it, because usually in China, my audience, they are mainly, you know, young women.
Oh, is that
young
right?
women, like from like 16, the high school age, to 25 or something like that. You know, they are young and they like romance. You know, they like my drawing styles. Yeah, it's like for girls. You know, they like that. So when I found out that I have Korean audience, they are guys in their 40s, I'm just very surprised and very, very happy, because it means, you know, guys that age, they can appreciate my work.
Sure. Yes.
Well,
I have friends around me that are 40-something that love to read comics as well. Yes.
Thank you. I'm so happy about it.
I understand that your first published work was in print form.
Okay.
What was it called, your very first work?
My very first one. Okay. My very first one is called A Drop of Rainbow.
A Drop of Rainbow?
Yeah, which I did in 2003 when I was in college. And it's mainly, you know, an illustration book.
I see.
It has a lot of illustrations and one very short manga story in it. So that was my first book.
And it was in print form.
Yes, it was. When I published my first book, which in 2003, I was in college. It was in Beijing.
I see.
And I majored in industrial design.
Okay.
Yeah, which means that I draw cars or cell phones, something like that.
That was my major too.
Really?
Yes. So there was environmental design. We would design interior.
Yeah.
Design cars.
Yeah, all
and
kinds of
products.
things. Right. That's what I do in college. And
you got into comics.
Yeah, but I only do comics in my free time. You know, when I'm not in class, I do comics. Actually, I skipped a lot of classes to do comics in college, and so in my third year of college, I published my first book.
Oh, I see. So when you went to the UK to study visual communications, was that to perhaps help you in doing comics, webtoons or webcomics?
Actually, before I went to UK, it was 2005, I think. I already published like one very long manga serial story, which name is Delicious Seasons.
Delicious Seasons.
Delicious Seasons, yes, and it was welcomed by Chinese audience actually. But after a year, I met a creation bottleneck, and I was really young. I was like 22, and I didn't know what to tell people. You know, more stories in Delicious Seasons.
Right.
I found it, you know, very painful. Yeah, I felt empty. So I have to learn new things. But people, they told me that I should, you know, stay in China because I'm getting known by people. You know, by my first manga, Delicious Seasons. So why should I leave by then? And I thought that, you know, if I force myself to tell stories that I don't like, You know, the people, they wouldn't like it either, even though they like it now, but they won't like it in the future. So I have to improve myself.
I see.
So I decided to go to UK and to try a lot of new things. A lot of new things like graphic novels or children's books,
Oh, wow.
illustrations, yeah, something like that, in very, very different, drawing styles. Yeah, and I started to write different stories, to go with that style. Yeah, that's when I found that telling good stories is more important than drawing methods.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the main thing that I realized in UK that really helped me in creating manga. These years.
Right. You've won several awards in
Well,
Japan.
2 awards.
2 awards.
Yeah, and 1 in England. Yeah.
Could you tell us about these awards?
Yeah, the first one was in England when I was studying there, in UK. I was studying about children's book, and at that time I felt difficult to fit in the environment, when I was in UK. The English students, they are very smart, and they seem to know everything about their lives, and I wasn't. I was very awkward, very immature. It was my first time away from my family, so I felt, difficult to fit in. So to encourage myself, I wrote the story of Cactus. Yeah, it's like a children's book. It's like children's book, but the story, it's about a cactus who was, he grew up in the forest.
A cactus that...
A cactus grew up in the forest.
In the forest?
Yes. And there are trees around him. Everyone, there are trees. They have branches, they have leaves, they have fruits, they have flowers. The cactus, he didn't have anything.
In a forest full of tall, lush trees, there is a cactus covered in spines. He is an outcast and viewed as an eyesore by everyone else around him. "I'm a monster. I hate myself. I want to be a tree, a big tree," he said. Then, one day, he wakes up, the forest had turned into a desert, and all the trees had withered and died. The cactus, who was teased for looking different, bloomed beautiful flowers in the end.
So, that book made me won the Best Recommended Award of Macmillan Children's Book Award 2006.
Wow.
Yeah, and it brought me to London to receive the award. That was the point. I finally got something from my, life
Your
in
experience.
London. Yeah, my experience in UK. And the second and the third award, they are from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan.
I see.
It's called the International Manga Award. Yes, I won the Bronze Award twice in 2012 and 2015.
And
Yes.
for which works were you awarded these awards?
The first one is called Once Again.
Once again.
Once Again. It's about a guy. He works very hard. He works very hard, and he's so good about it. But his wife just passed away.
There is a man who feels neither pain nor grief about his wife's death. Then, one day, the apathetic man notices a young girl on the subway. The memories of his wife from their high school days rush back to him, causing an emotional awakening. In 2015, Buddy won another award at the International Manga Awards, held by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan for her work Before the Rainy Evening. On a rainy day, a young girl attends a funeral where she sees a woman in red clothing. On her way home, the car breaks down and she finds herself on a vast buckwheat field. To her surprise, she sees the woman from the funeral standing there before her. This is a story about a fox goblin written by Buddy, based on a mysterious experience she had after a funeral. Guarding is a webcomic series that Buddy is currently working on. Guarding centers on a teenage boy who is bullied at school. The only friend he ever had falls victim to an untimely death, but she still stays by his side for 10 years, like his guardian angel. While the boy grows up to be a fine young man, the girl still remains 14 years old, just like 10 years ago. He wants to develop a romantic relationship with a real woman, but his childhood friend won't let him. Tension and conflict start to grow, driving them apart. Guarding is the first webcomic published in Korea by Buddy. It has been serialized on a major portal site, and it's been receiving a favorable response from the fans of webcomics.
잡지 만화 시장 때와 비슷한 이제 이쁘고 잘생긴 이전 그림체가 요새 한국 웹툰 시장에 그렇게 많지가 않아요. 근데 그런 면에서 다시 이제 보편적으로 여성 독자분들이나 등에게 이제 많이 먹히지 않을까. 그래서 그 링이판 작가님의 작품을 제일 먼저 선택해서 한국에 이제 수입을 해서 서비스를 하게 되었습니다.
Buddy presented a character wearing a hanbok in Guarding as a way to express gratitude to her Korean readers and held an autograph event. We hope she continues to delight her Korean fans with many more of her gripping works.
What inspired you to write Guarding?
What inspired me?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's no, like a real story behind that. No such thing. But perhaps it was because I was thinking about relationships, about how people grow when they were in relationships. I always think that relationship, how do you say it's a good relationship or a bad one?
Right.
How do you say? Why do you think it's a good relationship or a bad
That's it's a difficult question.
Have you ever thought about that?
No, I don't think I've given it a very serious thought.
You don't? But
I think that
you had good relationships, right?
Of course. Oh, you mean while I dated somebody or just
Yes.
with friends even?
No, romance.
Oh yes, I've had bad relationships. I mean,
bad
good
ones?
relationships that turned out to be bad. But of
out.
course, yeah. You fall in love with somebody, you have
That's right.
a very good relationship, very strong relationship. But sometimes you do kind of grow apart, sometimes without any reason, and you wonder why, what happened.
You're right.
So yes, I've had some bad experiences.
So you think that's bad experiences?
Yes.
Because you didn't end up together, like
Right.
get married, have kids.
But then
or
again, I
something
think you learn from each experience.
You're right. You're right.
Is
that's
that the correct
why-
answer?
Yes, that's why I did Guarding. That's
I
what I
see.
thought at that time. Because good relationships, people, they always think that good relationships make you get married and have kids, have family, But I think good relationships can make you grow. You can grow in the relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from your partner. I mean, if he's more wiser than you, more mature, he can teach you things so you can
Right.
grow, right? Well, but another kind of growth is that when you're with him, you realized something by yourself. I mean, you found yourself. You know who you are, what you need, and even it's not what he can give you. It's not what you be with him for. It's for you. It's good
Right.
because you know who you are and what you need. So I think that's the most important thing that you will do in a relationship, to find yourself.
I'm going to check out Guarding for sure. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Thank you.
Do you have something like a plan in your mind, like an idea of what you might want to perhaps work on in the future?
In the future,
Yes.
I have a lot of ideas
You do?
actually. Yes, actually, I already wrote like 3 or 4 of them in Word format. I haven't draw anything for them, but I only wrote them, read them like novels, like novels.
Oh.
Yeah, I write novels, and but I don't show them to anyone because for me they are like the scripts for comics, for mangas. So I just keep them in my computer.
Is it this
Yeah.
computer?
Not like this one.
Not this one.
Yeah. The other one at home.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I keep them in my computer, and someday maybe after I finished my current manga garden, I will look at them and choose which one I think is the best, and make them into the next manga.
So you told us that you usually write first. So the novel comes out first. It's hidden or it's stored in your computer at home, not with you today. But I'm curious as to what you have stored or what you work on with your laptop. Do you carry your laptop around with you wherever you go?
Well, mainly I do my comics at home on my computer, but when I'm on trip like this, when I'm in Korea, I have to work on manga, in my free time, because I have deadline, so sometimes I just bring the laptop and the tablet with me to draw manga in coffee shop like this.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is there something that you can perhaps show us, how you work on your works, or?
Of course,
Yes.
I can do it right now.
Yes, please.
Yeah, on the screen. Okay. Okay. Turn it here. Okay. Okay. Usually I do sketches first, like with pencil on paper, and they're really small, like this.
Oh, very small. Oh.
This small. Yes. And after I do that, actually, I can draw like 16 of them on one A4 paper. 16 of them.
Very small.
Yes. After I draw them, I scan them, in the computer, and I do the line. I do the inking part.
Okay.
I do the inking part. But right now, I will just only do the inking part without the sketch.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So this is as if you're drawing on paper. Like,
It's like
usually you have a sketch
yeah,
to work on,
usually
but
I have
now
a sketch.
on blank.
But
Okay.
today I'm just.
Oh, this is fine.
It's fine. All right. So I don't know what to I don't know what to draw. I just showing you how does it work.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't you need to draw an image in your mind first in order to draw something?
I think it's in my heart, not in my brain.
Okay.
All right.
Now I see. I was wondering, at first I thought that you were drawing the head of a character perhaps, but now
Yeah.
you're drawing eyes.
Yeah, a lot of people they draw from the head first.
But you
I
begin
don't.
with the eyes.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you begin by drawing the eyes first?
I don't know. I did that when I was very young. Yeah, I think the eyes, they are the most important part on your face. It can express feelings, emotions,
Right.
something like that. Often, you usually when you have your eyes, you have everything.
You make it look so easy.
Well, it's not hard because I've done it for like more than 10 years. So.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my typical drawing style.
I wish I had a timer with me. I wonder how long that took.
It's maybe 2 minutes.
Very fast. It would have taken me 10 hours to draw that. Drawing, erasing, drawing, and erasing. But like I said, you make it look so easy, and that was very, very fast.
Well-
Not only was it done easily, but it was done. I think it's amazing.
Thank
it's
you.
beautiful. I'd also like to ask you about your philosophy when it comes to working, doing your work.
Yes.
Webtoons, for example, webcomics.
Okay.
So when it comes to perhaps the tools that you can use to create your creation, it can be the skills that you have. Of course, you have to have basic skills
Yeah.
to do well, but
Yes.
tools, skills, whatever it is, what do you consider to be the most important? Is it the story itself?
Yeah, always the story itself. And the next one is maybe the way that you're telling the story.
Ah, the way that you're telling your story.
Yes, yes. Because being a manga artist is not just drawing, you know. But it means you have to tell the audience your story, like you're directing a movie, right? It's basically the same thing, you know. People see what you want them to see, right? For example, maybe there is a line in the screenwriting which is he feels happy about the relationship, right? Maybe that's the line in the story.
Okay.
And as an artist, I cannot just draw a face of him smiling or something and says he's happy about his relationship. I cannot do that. I have to let him act. He have to act. You know, he have to do things to show people that he's actually happy about
Such
it. Such as maybe he, after his long day of working, he went to the flower shop to buy flowers for his girlfriend, something like that. Like he expressed with a smile on his face, means he's really happy about it, even though he's exhausted, but he still wants his girlfriend to be happy, something like that. He have to act that. You cannot just say it with words, you know, can never do that. So
I never really thought about that,
that's
but
very important.
the way you tell your story is also very important.
It
It
is.
sounds very easy, but I know that, as a matter of fact, I mean, it's very difficult because you have to be very creative and you have to think about what you could possibly do to even express one simple emotion and
You're
feeling.
right. You're right.
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, when I write the story, I talk with my editors, and they give me all kinds of inspirations, you know, and we write like very good stories together. But after I got home, I will spend like a week thinking about how to tell it. You know, I have the story, but how to tell it? I will spend a week to make them into the small sketches that I do on the paper. You know, to change the word into image.
Right.
That's the hardest part. Actually, after I got the sketches, everything will be very fast, very fast. I mean, I can do it on my laptop very fast. I mean, the lining part and the coloring part. Maybe just take 3 or 4 days. But the sketching itself, it will take like 2 weeks or 10 days, something like that, because it's very, very difficult. And it's all in my mind, you know. I cannot get help anywhere. Yeah, I have to act everything in my brain and figure out how to draw them on the paper.
Where do you usually gain inspiration though when you work on your works?
My works. Okay. Inspiration. I think they're mainly from my life. Well, I don't have very different life with other people, but I think life itself is very how to say that?
Inspirational?
Inspirational. Thank you. And well, I think when I was young, like 20, I didn't realize that. Yeah, because I read manga, I read like books about romance books. You know, and the girls, they like it.
Yeah.
I like them too when I was young, and I don't know what to get from my life. I didn't realize that I should observe my life, observe people around me. You know, I just write stories that I thought is cool. So that's what happened when I was 20. That's why I met the creation bottleneck, because after I told every story that I thought is cool, I don't have anything to tell, right? Because those stories, it's just, you know, what I fantasied, and they have limits,
Right.
you know, because there was no source of it. It has limits. So after I went to UK and exploring my life, I have a lot of stories to tell. I met a lot of people, you know, they're very different people from different cultures. So after I talk to them and after I get to know them, I found that people are very fascinating. They have different ideas. They have their stories, and I have my stories. I have a lot of things to tell in my stories. So that's where I get my inspirations for my manga. So that's what I do today. I get inspirations from my life.
I hope you get inspiration from your visit to Korea this time, and perhaps that will help you in the future when you work on a new project, perhaps?
I did. Everything.
Myeongdong is a popular shopping district packed with the locals and tourists throughout the year. This is Buddy and her husband's first visit to Korea, and they decided to check out what the fuss was all about. Buddy, what did you get?
Okay, at first, I went into the store and I saw this. Yeah, I thought it's really cute. It's like a panda mask, you know. I can give it to my friends.
They also toured Insadong, which provides a glimpse of traditional Korean culture. Buddy receives inspiration from her day-to-day life, and bustling streets that are full of life and vibrancy provide her with new ideas.
Like human, they're doing pipes, you know. I got inspired. They're really funny. It's like kind of like comic, right?
After checking out the streets of Seoul, Buddy announced it's time for her to get to work. They went into a quiet traditional tea shop where she grabbed her pen and began to draw. She was working on Guarding that's currently being published.
When I'm at home, I always, get online to see videos or some internet shopping. Well, I cannot focus. So I go to the coffee shop and do the sketch part. Yeah, I tell myself that if I cannot finish like 10 pages of them, I cannot go home.
Her husband, who's her biggest fan and supporter, watched her ever so lovingly.
他画得很棒，我知道他画的不仅仅是这些，他会很多其他的风格，但是他更喜欢用现在的这种风格来创作故事，所以我也支持他。
She finished a part of the next episode. We were curious as to how the story will unfold. Drawing and telling stories is an integral part of Buddy's life, and it's something she loves to do no matter where she is.
Is there like a fixed salary that you get paid, or or is it based on the number of hits that you get, or?
Well, I can only speak for myself, right? I get like the fixed salary.
I see.
I don't know if I can call it a salary because it's based on the number of pages that I do per month. Yes, if I do like 1 page of manga, they will pay me like amount of money,
For that 1 page.
For that 1 page.
I see.
For them to show it on internet, on any websites or on cell phones, something like that. Yeah, and I cannot give it to another platform myself. I cannot give that to them. They can do that, but I cannot do that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where I get my payment. And if I do, enough pages of the mangas, I can live well with the payment.
I see. So I guess it's just it depends on how you sign the contract, what this
Yes.
contract says. I see.
Yes.
Also, since I guess online comics or webtoons are very easily accessible, you would have to worry about copyright infringement.
Yeah, right.
Is there like any law or regulation that's in China, for example, to protect copyright issues?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, I think there is one. There's a law that to protect the copyrights, as well as the books and the internet, both of them, all of them, the copyrights, they protect it. Yeah, and the government, they are very serious about it. Yeah, actually, a few years ago, there are platforms, the internet companies, they are doing like Japanese manga or foreign mangas for free on internet, and they don't have the copyrights. They're just showing them to people, and it's not right. It's not right to do that. So maybe in about last year, the government they found out about that, and they shut down some of the websites.
I see.
Yes, and they asked the companies, the manga platforms, they do a like cleansing, something like that. They have to take off all the non-copyright mangas off their website.
So they kind of did like a filtering of have copyright protection and which
Yes.
don't.
Yes, they have to only put the works with copyright on their websites. That's what the government asks them to do. Yeah.
I see. Has anyone ever mentioned to you that they would love to see your works, I guess, be turned into a film or a different genre, perhaps?
Well, yeah, people, they want that. The audience, they always said, I want it to be like animations or movies or something like that. Yes. Well, we are working on that, actually. Me and the platform. Yeah, actually there's, you know, the interest of adapting this manga into films and television series. They are coming from those companies.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we are currently, you know, talking about that.
That's wonderful.
Talking about the possibility to do that. Yes, I personally am looking forward to that.
And what about your characters? Have any of your characters been changed into, let's say, for example, a character in a movie or an animation, or perhaps even a doll, like a stuffed animal?
Well, there is a stuffed animal.
Oh, there is a
actually.
stuffed animal.
Yeah, there is a bear.
A bear.
A bear in my latest work, Guarding. It's very adorable with the face that making this expression.
Oh, so it's not a very, I guess,
not a very
sweet-looking bear?
No, but it's fun to look at.
I hope that many of your other characters will someday turn into a character and come to life.
Thank you.
What kind of message, I guess, do you want to convey to your readers, or what kind of message do you want to plant in your readers' minds?
Well, I'm not trying to plan anything. Well, I can say that, I'm very happy to grow up with them. I mean, some of my readers, they started to read my manga since like 10 years ago when they were in junior high or when they were 10, something like that. And today they tell me that I'm still reading your manga and they're getting better. And I'm like 25 and I got married and I have kids. I was like, what? You know, so it's a great feeling that to grow up with them, to be a part of their youth, a part of their experience of growing up. So it's a great feeling. Yeah, I'm not trying to plant anything in their brain, but they always say that, you know, I like your stories, and the characters, the girls in the stories, they are very brave, and you know, they have their dreams. Yeah, they know how to, you know, live well. You know, that's just what I want to hear. I don't want to plan anything.
All right, and last but not least, perhaps, is there a message that you want to send out to your fans that are watching from around the world, and perhaps to your fans or to people that have just, I guess, they've become your fan right now. I have become a fan of yours, and I'm sure that many of your viewers have as well. And they're eager to, you know, check out your works. Messages to them?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for watching this. And my manga Guarding, which is my latest one, is online, both in Korean websites and Chinese websites. And I would like that you to read it and tell me what you think about it. And I will be very happy to be a part of your life, you know, to be there when you grow up. And we can share our experiences of growing up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love that message. And as I told you, I've become a fan of yours. I was never really a big fan of comic books. Never have I read a single comic online either. But what I'll do for sure is I'm going to check out your works. And,
Thank you very much. Please do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your valuable time. And I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.